So welcome to the channel. It's just after Christmas. The weather's not brilliant, it's foggy, it's rainy, it's foggy, it's doing whatever it wants. But we've managed to crack on with stuff. We're going to have to get on with this KA. This was started a long time ago. It's been moved around endless times and we've got to try and get it up and running and get it moving about. I've painted the side of it. If you watch my old videos on this car, it had a bit of a ding in that side there. I have painted the whole side of this car. It's alright. It's not a professional job by a long way, but I've got to get another indicator for there. But it's alright for what we want. It's just a run around car, and we'll just keep this until it's beyond repair. I've put some 17-inch wheels on it. I've also got some 16s. I don't know what it rides like with these on. If it doesn't ride well, I've got some 16s from Fiat 500, so we're going to maybe stick them on as well and give it a run out on them. And we're doing a few jobs on it today, so I've just repaired this exhaust. So this is quite a common failure on these. There's only one bit of flex on it, but it seems to have gone somewhere around there. You can see it doesn't sound very good. So that bit basically comes down to your cap, and then this bit goes off to your back box. I've cut through that. I use an air hacksaw, but you might be able to use a hand saw or something. A grinder's a bit savage. You might get the bottom bit with a grinder, but you'll have to do the top bit with a saw because you'll cut through, damage your subframe and all sorts. I don't think an MOT inspector will like your subframe cut with a grinder or any other bits under there. So just take your time cutting that bit off. Mark it before you cut it, so it's somewhere around there on this piece I've got, and I'll show you. And I'm doing this video for this, and also I'm just sort of installing this aftermarket radio in this car, and a lot of these cars suffer with it. I'm not too sure about the wiring having CAN bus systems, but I've basically just go the old school way, ignition live, positive live, and wiring my speakers up, and to be honest it should work, shouldn't it? It's just one of them things. But let me show you this and then we'll go around to the radio. So, oh dear. Right, so this is it under here. That's the flip. I need to see what I'm doing. That's the adapter there. You can see it just slides on there. I put these clamps like that so they don't catch over things. I know it's not a low down car, but it's just, I don't want them threads catching on in like manhole covers or road grate things that are sticking up. So I try just get them out of the way best I can. And you can see there at the back where the clamp is what I mean about using a grinder. It's not ideal. So I mean, it does come further back here, by the way. You can see where the flex is. That's quite a generous extension, so it does go over there probably about 1.5 inches, but you can see how tight it is for a grinder, so saw's a lot better. But it starts off, it's fixed, it's a nice little job, and to be honest, not little bad cars to work on these. You know, they're like the 21st century Minute. Oh, it came with that paste as well. Put the lid on that, come in handy for something else. So it actually came with that, which is probably about £5 a tube. So I don't think they're bad little cars, these. They run alright, they're alright to maintain, they're great if you probably just passed your test and you want something to bob around in. This sounds sweet as a nut, does this, but we're just going to change some filters on it and get the bumper back on it, which is over there, which are painted. Yeah, so what we're doing is we're doing the stereo. So let's get around here and get the stereo sorted, if we can. So I'll show you what I've done. I've tried to come up with the simplest way for people to do it, rather than start chopping up your car and everything else. Right, so what I've done is this. I've disconnected the lighter socket down here, and there's a 3-pin plug that comes off. I've got a yellow, a grey and a black. Now what we're looking for is an ignition live. Let me just, I don't know how it's going to work this. It's there, look. And how I did was, I took this cover off here, to be honest, I'm trying to do the pollen filter on this. I can't seem to find it, it's not even in that casing up there. So if someone can message where it is, it'd be a nice filter for it. It's not there. So I managed to get my hand round the back of there, take this trim off, and I can get my hand round the back and up to this old cigarette lighter socket. Get this out the best way you can. I think they're a nightmare to get off, but it's off. And then what we do is we're going to ditch that socket, and I've put a USB in, so I've got a USB fit in there. Let me see if I can get this camera. Can't. You have to bear with me, so we'll do it like this. Might be easier. So this is a step. These are, we'll go on to these. These are like Wago things. So these are really handy for, they're using household electrical, but they're great for clicking wires on and off. And if you got stuff in the wrong place and stuff, they're great. So I use these quickly for videos and solder. You should really solder stuff and heat shrink it, but you know it's difficult when you're filming and things like that to do these kind of jobs. So what we're going to do is we've got the radio's got ignition. This is the radio, by the way. It's one of these things up. Right, so we're gonna ignition live and permanent live. So we can put that is permanent live there. So what I've done is, bear with me. So I put that up. This wire here is a bit of 2-core. I want this socket here to be permanent live. So what I've done is I've run a wire from there down to there, right, and that is going to go into the back of it on the positive side of this. So I've got that permanent. I'm going to nick another feed off that using a 3-way Wago, which is down there, to get my live to my radio. So I've got a permanent live, and then I'm going to take that wire off there. Now it's not the yellow, it's the grey and red. Right, we're going to show you that in a minute. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take it, cut that off, and we're going to use the ignition live off that back up here, and we're going to see if we can get this radio to work. Okay, we could even use the earth if we wanted as well. So I could use just the live from there if I had to. Could just use the live from there and put the earth into there from the back of this to that. Okay, but if you wanted this to work off your ignition, if you're still with me, all you need to do is, if you're just going to fit one of these for instance and get rid of your light, is put that, cut that off and put your Wagos on there, so you're live and earth, and away you go. So you could have that off the ignition feed as well if you wanted. It's up to you. So but I just have it permanent, so that's not confused too much. You can see the red connectors on there. So let's crack on and get that done, and we'll see how we go. Let me try and get my camera so it's rigged up in here or through the passenger door. Alright, just a sec. Right, so hopefully now you can see what I'm doing with this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on wiring, brown is always live, so I need this permanent live. And these little Wago things here just open up like that. They're great to use if you're not sure with wiring and stuff like that. So you put them into there. So we're going to live, then I want that live, so we use brown. I normally use ferro lens, but people don't use them, so I'll just do it without for the time being. And then we're going to use the earth, which we'll have to swap out of here. But to be honest, I could use that one down there if you remember what I said. And this video won't be for everybody, I wouldn't imagine. I think there's people on here that can do it, but there's a lot of lads and, well, young lads and stuff that can't do it, so we're just going to have a look and see if we can sort it. So now what we've got is we've got an earth and we've got a spare live there, right? So we're going to use them two in a minute as permanent. So we've got that in there. Right. So this is my permanent live for my radio. So that goes into there, like that. So now we've got a permanent live. So now what we've got to do is get an ignition live from there up to there. Now how can we do it without running loads of wires? How do you think we can do it? Right, I'll tell you what we'll do to make it even easier is we will steal the blue wire going down there and we will use the blue as the ignition wire. Right, end of the day it's just a wire. Don't mean anything, it's just a wire. So what we're going to do is we're going to connect yellow from the radio. Let's just double that to that. See what I mean with these? You can just disconnect them and that to there. Right, there we go. So at the minute we're connected, so we need to find the ignition wire. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to split this bit of 2-core here. Now I know this is going to work, so I'm going to tick, well, what I'm doing. So I'm going to nick the blue wire as an earth wire, but I'm going to put some black tape on that. But for the purpose of this video, it won't matter because I know what it is. I'm going to put that through there. Now this wire here, we know that the blue wire is our ignition wire. So that connector we're talking about, we're going to cut it. If you're not sure about cutting wires, disconnect your battery, like always. Let's just cut these off, get rid of the yellow. Cut one at a time, I don't cut them all at the same time because they'll probably blow up fuse. That and that, right. Right, the best way to check for an ignition live is multimeters seem to do people's head in. Best thing you can use, get a test light or rig a little 12-volt bulb holder up at something out of an old headlight. I have one of them somewhere about 4 meters, a little thin wire on it, and I can test wires as and when I check them, you know, if I need to do it. So what we're going to do is let's look for ignition live. So what we're trying to do is work out from this plug. There we go. So the ignition live on here, you can't see it because the wire won't come high enough up so you can see it there. The ignition wire is that one. So it's the grey with a red stripe through it. Right. So we need to connect this blue wire to that grey wire. Right. Just to let you know, with these Wago things, you can't put live, neutral and earth, or positive and negative in one connector. It's either all lives, all earths and all neutrals, yeah? So just bear that in mind. You can't join two together. Right, there we go. So we've got that in there. That in there. It's as simple as they are to do. And then what we're going to have to do is, because we pinched the earth from up there, we're going to have to convert this earth down here to the back of my USB connector now. But we know what colour it is, don't we? So let's just, we've got the earth on there, so we know that it's going to be blue. It shouldn't be blue, it should be black. Sort it, right. So now I've got a USB connector in there, right. So we should have, let's check our feeds up this end now. So we should have no power to that yet. Let's use the plug, sorry. Right, we've got power there. There we go. So we've nicked it off there and we've got a permanent live there. Now, it's tricky doing these with YouTube because you're not supposed to play music. So let's the speakers, look at your old radio before you take it out and you'll get the right ones. But I've got purple to green, green to orange, white with a black stripe to maybe looks like a a yellow and black stripe, and then green, and then ones over this white, grey to purple. Alright, you can have a look at that, see if you can work it out. There are wires now. Let's fire this up. Right, what have we got? Anything or nothing? Let's turn the ignition on. There we go, look. So that's ignition on, ignition off. One thing I want to make sure is with this, will it store radio stations? Because I've had this in the past where you can program it all up and it doesn't work. We won't put the aerial in because you're not allowed to play music. Right, just let's just press anything. Right, so right, pick my favourite radio station. Right, so I've got my radio station that I like listening to, so we're going to try store that. Right, so I've stored that. Let's turn it off. Turn the ignition off. Now sometimes it loses that. For some reason that store. So let's see if it works. But no idea. Does it just keep... Right. So it's lost that station, hasn't it? Look, can you see? And that's, I think, a big problem with stuff, innit? It's a bit odd. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to swap round the positive and negative, the positive and the ignition and see if it makes any difference. Let's have a go. And that's where these little adapters come in handy. So let's just disconnect it from the radio again. So what we've got is, we've got power, but when we turn it off, we're losing all our preset functions, aren't we? So let's take out that. And that. Let's swap these round. It might make no difference whatsoever. It might not even work. But I don't know. Let's have a look. Right, so what we've got now is we've got power all the time, haven't we? Now it's... Right, so we've still got ignition, look. So we're off. Can we turn it on without the ignition on? I've no idea. So I'm going to listen to it in the car. No. Right, will it come on with ignition? Yes. That's a good sign. Right, so let's... Well, is it a good sign? I don't know. Where's my favourite radio station gone? I just need to find one that I remember, that's all, and then I know it's stored it. That'll do. So we'll click it on that. Right, so it's stored it there. Now let's turn it off. Take the key out and it goes out. Great. So it's like the one we did in the caddy, really, isn't it? But what I want to know is why would it not store it? And sometimes these radios, the wires are the wrong way around. I don't know the only other way is to join the old school red and yellow together, but I'd like it on the ignition. Have we still got that station or has it disappeared? Hey, so there we go. So it stored it. So we're still in the ignition live, but I've put my red to my ignition and the yellow to the positive, and it looks like we've got a working radio. So there we go, and I think there's loads of settings you can change on it. I can't play any music through it. You can hear the speakers in the car. It's not a bad radio. I think it's about 35 quid, and everything's going that way in it with radios at the minute. Everything's going that way with radios at the minute. We have got another radio coming from a supplier. We'll be doing a video on that. It's quite an expensive one. They've reached out to me to do a video for them, and we'll be putting that in my van. So I think everyone's going down this CarPlay route, isn't it? So it's probably the best thing to have a go at, really, and take my Pioneer out and look at doing one in that. Well, hopefully this has solved the mystery of how to wire one of these up. This car's an 09 plate. It's 1.2 KA style, and hopefully you've enjoyed this video and it's made some sort of sense, and if not, reach out to me. I'll try and help you out with some questions. Thanks very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video or any of my other videos, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video where we're going to have to look at this EcoBoost. Thanks so much for watching. Bye for now.